Hello and welcome to our Advent series, All Creation Waits, the Advent Mystery of New Beginnings by Gayle. Today, Advent 17, we'll be hearing about the striped skunk. But first, hear these words from English anchoress and mystic Julian of Norwich. The fullness of joy is to behold God in all. Advent 17, Striped Skunk. Because her eyesight is poor, and because I was downwind and standing as still as I could bear in the mosquito-thick morning at the edge of the woods, I was insubstantial as a spirit to her. What was substantial and consequential was the quick cricket in the leaf meal. She thrust her pink-tipped nose into the leaf litter, tossed it aside, and pounced. The sun was already up that late October morning, and she hadn't retreated to a hollow log or stump to sleep away the day. She knows, I thought. She knows the snow and cold are coming. She's hunting overtime, urgent to get fat. Or maybe she was out late that morning because she'd ceded some of her night feeding time to the other urgency of October, nest readying. All the rest of the year she beds in the hubbub above ground, but in the cold, spare season her survival senses forces her to go deeper. During that autumn night she might have been scraping together leaves and grass, pushing them ahead of her down a woodchuck hole, then deftly making her bed. No matter if the chuck was there. Gentle as she is, she happily shares the den with him. And anyway, awake or asleep, he stays in his chamber at the den's far end, leaving the rest to her and her sisters. A quiet soul, she prefers to make her way through the world alone or with her kits. But when winter begins nipping at her shoulder, she compromises. She may have scraped, pushed, and shaped a full bushel of leaves and grass into a nest precisely to her liking. But come late November, she might leave that perfect bed empty and join 3 or 5 or 9 other females in the nest one of them has made. What matters is not whose nest, but togetherness. But now, Advent Center, the skunks that find themselves denned together are curled into a single ball of black fur, white stripes undulating through it. Most nights they rouse for a few minutes. A couple may go to the entrance hole and, if that's not sealed up with snow, poke pink noses out into the sharp air. But soon they're all reballed, drifting up and down the ladder of sleep. Fat skunks can stay on the upper rungs of that ladder. Thinner sisters must slide deeper down the ladder and stay there asleep longer, burning less fat but stressing their systems. Thicker or thinner, each shares her heat with the others, so all in the ball save fat they would have had to burn if alone. Fat is the only food each one has underground. Tucked into the huddle, what she has goes further. And not only to sustain her single life, the several new lives she wants to make when winter ends can only take hold and grow in her if she has enough of herself left. So, solitary the rest of the year, here she folds herself into others. 90 days, 100, winter howls on. As the body of each one shrinks, they wrap the ball of their slighter selves tighter and lean into the warmth that, together, they are. As you listen to this description of how a skunk passes the winter, what caught your attention? What might the skunk be teaching you about wading through times of cold and dark? Of trusting that new light will indeed come, of trusting your impulse to be alone or to seek company. Take a moment to prayerfully consider not only these questions, but also how might God be leading you? What might God be asking of you at this time? And I invite you to take a moment to prayerfully share your thoughts, your questions, your insights, your concerns with God, remembering that the dark is not an end, it's a door. It's the way that a new beginning comes. Amen.